Good morning. Good Monday morning, everybody. Okay, you guys are making, hi, Daryl and Jen. You guys are making it increasingly difficult for me to type fast enough to say good morning to everybody. But good morning to everybody. I hope you guys had a good weekend. Good morning, Laura. You just popped on as well. My setup today feels a little. It feels a little different. It feels a little more narrow. And at the risk of pushing the computer back to give my keyboard and my space around me a little more space, I'm just going to keep it the way it is, which means typing is a bit awkward. So forgive me if I didn't get to everybody. For those of you that are watching or that are joining in later that aren't texting or chatting with us right now, good morning to you guys as well. Thanks for sharing your Monday morning, which is August 11th. I don't know. I don't know. I say this every week, but it's because every week comes and goes in a blur. There's so much going on. Despite the fact that it's slower foot traffic, I'm still super, super busy. There's still phone calls. There's still people looking to sell. There's still people that need to buy. There's still people that want to move, need to move, being relocated. And so, work is still all consuming. So I kind of going, gosh, it feels slow on the showing side of things, but busy everywhere else. So anyway, good morning. Thanks for keeping me company. I have a new mug, and I have to tell you that currently it is one of my absolute favorites. So my son and his girlfriend went to a family reunion for her side of the family. Washington State, I believe it was, and they brought back some goodies. And they know, like, my favorite type of coffee mug has a lid, just to kind of keep it warm, mostly because I don't drink my coffee particularly quickly. Kind of a slow coffee drinker, and if it's in a traditional coffee mug, sometimes it gets too cold too fast. And so I like the kind that have the lids that can kind of help keep it warm, and you can kind of slide the lid so it doesn't spill out, kind of a little tumble mug type thing. Anyway, so they brought back wow, there is construction going on, and I have to tell you, like, the house is shaking. Good gracious. Anyway, so this is my new mug, and I absolutely love it. I'm sorry it's dirty because I've been drinking out of it all morning. Okay, but it's called Woods Coffee. Candidly, I'm not sure if this is the brand of the coffee, the name of the coffee shop, or if it's both. But it's spectacular. It's really, really good. And look at the mug. So the mug it's perfect because it's a bigger size. So it's not just your traditional size of a coffee cup, right? So it's a little bit bigger. So if you have a Keurig and you're pushing like 8 ounce, 10 ounce, whatever, this will do the 10 ounce. So a little bit more coffee. So you don't really have to go back for a second cup. It kind of gives you the 1.5 that you need, right? So love that. And I love the fact that it has the top, right? And I love the handle is really sturdy, and look, it's angled out. So I will say I had to turn it around. It's for a right-handed person. Actually, you know what? That's not true. That's not true, because I guess I can spin that around. But anyway, so here it is, showing it to you. This is it. And when I look at it, I love it because I can see the trees, the Woods Coffee. Anyway, love it. So cheers to you. Good morning. And on that note, what is better with coffee than donuts? And my sister was texting me this morning. Let me see if I can find it. She was texting me this morning, and it's always fun. That's honestly is why I'm a little bit harried this morning. I didn't have earrings on except for like 2 seconds before. 2 seconds before we started. But she was just texting me some. I'm gonna get it because the point is, Krispy Kreme donuts has their. Here it is. Come on. She sent me this. They have the pumpkin spice. I guess it's time. It's season. Oh my gosh, it's season. So it's the pumpkin. I gotta read it. Glasses on. Pumpkin spice cake and pumpkin spice original glazed. Krispy Kreme limited time, as it says right there, limited time. So if you are a coffee donut person, perhaps go to Krispy Kreme and grab yourself some of the limited edition pumpkin spice yummy donuts. I don't actually know where there's a Krispy. Oh, I do know where one is. Okay, I know where I'm going. Anyway, so enjoy your morning coffee. Have a little coffee time with me. Let's talk about our brewing topics. As always, I like for you to chat and tell me what you guys did. Oh, I didn't skip you. AC medical coding. Hold on. AC medical coding. I did not skip you. I typed you. I promise. Go back. Because I'm going to find you. I'm going to prove to you that I didn't skip you. I hope I didn't skip you because I know I typed it. There you are. Okay, AC, right there you are. See, I told you. I did. See, that was earlier. Okay. Anyway, it was right after something else. Anyway, good morning. I appreciate everybody being here. Okay, so if I missed you, love you. Sorry. I'm going to get going here with our topics because I have appointments today. Several different appointments. I have a Zoom phone call with a builder for some clients that are starting finally to break ground. Let me just talk about the permitting delays for them was a little bit redonkadonk. Yeah, it was a little bit longer. Lot had a few challenges, and so I think it may have taken a few revisions. I can speak. Maybe I need more coffee. It needed a few revisions, and finally got those permits approved and released to the field so that they can start. So we have a Zoom meeting with that. Anyway, okay, I'm going to get going so we can talk about our brewing topics, but I'm going to put my glasses on so I don't push the wrong button, and here we go. Okay, so our 3 brewing topics today for our coffee time. Review those listing agreements, what usually conveys, and top 50 Orlando Realtor again. So we'll talk about those topics. This is where I really miss Eric and his breaking news because I've had this, by the way. Wow, it's got a lot of cat fur on it. My apologies. I should probably get that cleaned up. Anyway, I have Eric's breaking news. I keep it with me over here, so it's usually beside me or behind me somewhere close as we're doing coffee time. Anyway, okay. So the first of our brewing topics is review your listing agreements thoroughly. Okay, so usually when you have your listing agreement, this conversation is already going to have taken place between the listing agent and the client. You've discussed nearly everything that is going into this listing agreement. Now, in the listing agreement, there are going to be sections in there, and this is going to kind of bleed into topic number 2. There are going to be a lot of things that you need to determine. The most important of which for you as the seller, for you to make sure is top of your list to discuss and to confirm, not just telling your agent, but you need to do your due diligence and confirm as well. But some of the things that you need to know about the listing agreement. The first thing is, when is it going to go active? What is that date? Now, for many people, there's going to be a hard court has to go active on this date. Maybe it's a legal thing. Maybe there's a court order. Maybe there's something where it has to be. I've had some of those where divorce situations, and we have to have it listed by a specific date, not necessarily a specific date, but it has to be listed by a specific date. So you're going to need to know what that is. Now, that is what I always tell my clients. We need to back up from there. If it needs to go active on September 1st, then we need to back up when we get the photos done of the property, when we get the paperwork done, keeping in mind, if you do paperwork too early, there's an additional document. It's the MLS exclusion form that you have to have signed, which basically just states, hey, we have a listing agreement in place. It's not going to go active for another week and a half. But we have to have an agreement that states that we all know it's going to go active on the MLS on this date. We have an agreement now. And according to the Florida laws, we cannot actively market and promote that property until our listing agreement is in effect, or 24 hours before that agreement goes into effect or the home goes active. So you need to pick the date. Now, when we talk about picking the date, we talk about the photographer. How do you live? Is your home perfectly beautiful, clean, no dust? It's tidy, it's organized. You live minimalistically. That's a word, right? Then maybe you're ready for the photographer right away, or maybe you need some time to declutter. And I've had clients live both ways, right? And everything in between. Some people, you walk into their house, you're like, it's already a showroom. It's already picture perfect. And then you've got others where they're like, I need about a month to figure this out. And they not only need to declutter, but once they declutter and then they see what's kind of behind that clutter, maybe there's some touch-ups that they need to do to the walls or to the baseboards or things just to make it a little bit more presentable. So we need to make sure we know what that date is for when you will be ready for the photographer. Once you're ready for the photos to be done in your home, That usually gives us, a 24-hour, and my preference is 48 hours, 2 days after the photos are taken, depending on what day of the week they're being taken. But that's important. So again, as the seller, things you need to know. When are you going to go active? But also, when are you going to be ready for that photographer to come in and take those pictures? Because you want it to be as, picture perfect as possible. It's a lot of P's early on a Monday morning. And then you're also, the other thing is to note that most agents, not all, and this is certainly something that you can negotiate, but I always do a 6-month listing agreement. Do we want it to take 6 months to sell? No. Do we have high expectations that it will sell before then? Yes. Does it always? No. And but I will not do personally, I'm not going to do a 30, a 60, or a 90-day listing agreement, because it's a big process, and you can't expect everything to sell within a few days, even a few weeks. Sometimes in this particular market, we're seeing homes sit, as we discuss, every single Monday. And so there's a lot that you have to do. You kind of have to wait to get your footing, sometimes with the listing. So plan on, when you talk to your listing agent, if it's not me, if you live somewhere else and you've got somebody else, plan on it being probably about 6 months, but ask them what is normal. But understand that from the listing agent's perspective, sometimes you need time for that marketing to take effect. Eric was in marketing, and I don't remember what the exact number was, but it's basically something has to be in front of your face X number of times before you ever pay attention to it. Social media has changed that a little bit, but I almost think it's made it worse, because there's more impulsive buys. But I don't think anybody is impulsively going to spend $500,000 or more on a home. That's probably not an impulsive buy. But there are people who are kind of thrown into that. Oh my gosh, it's a really cool kitchen gadget, I have to have that. You never bake. I don't know why you need that, but it's really cool. And the lady made something that looked really good, and you could kind of pretend like you smelled it on the little TikTok reel, but or TikTok, whatever you call it. Anyway, so less impulsive there. So, but the point is, things have to be in front of you multiple times before you may actually take effect, or take notice of it. So that's one thing. The other thing you need to know is obviously the listing price. What have you guys decided on? Obviously a lot of that is going to be in your listing agent's lane, right? To use Daryl's words, we're in our lane. That's part of the responsibility of that listing agent, is to do those comps and to kind of let you know what that valuation is going to be. What he or she or they think about pricing. What are the comps kind of dictating? What is their gut saying? What is their experience saying? What is the data saying? What does the neighbor's house 3 doors down tell us? All of that goes in to compile that information to create that home valuation. So that's part of it, is to determine what that list price is going to be and what is the strategy and the mindset behind it. It's not like, oh, that number looks good, and you just decide to throw it in the listing agreement. You want to make sure that there's a reason for it. Sometimes we list higher because the seller's like, I don't care. I'm not in a rush. I just want to see what I can get for it. And so they're going to let that sit, and they'll let it ride, and then they'll lower it if they decide to lower it. There's other people who have more of an emergency, more of a time-sensitive situation, and they don't have time to play that game, especially in a market where there's few buyers and lots of inventory. So they want to be a little bit more aggressive with how they price and how they market and what incentives they may decide that they want to offer. Again, these are some things that we've touched on, but as the seller, these are the things that you want to note into the listing agreement, right? When does it go active? When's the photographer going to be ready? What is that price point? Are you going to offer any incentives? And then there's a few other little kind of minor details in there, but there's some important ones, which is going to lead us into our second topic of the day, which is what is going to convey. Now, I will say, hang on 2 seconds, because I have to answer this. Somebody's sending me, I have some photos being taken right now for a listing, and I just want to make sure that they can get in. So that's what we're going to do. This is real work. Perfect. All right. Love it. Okay. They're just saying that they're going to be there in 30 minutes. So very good. Okay. All right. Sorry. See, this is real life, guys. Sorry. The text message saying on my way, be there in 30. Okay. So that is the bulk of it. But the second piece of it is going to go to our second topic, which is what is usually conveyed in a home sale. So this is going to, honestly, the word usually is probably going to change depending on where you are. This is what I would say is most common, potentially, to make the home sale easier, is for you as the seller to include all the appliances. Yes, that means the washer, dryer, and the refrigerator. Typically, a home comes with, especially in this area where there's so much new construction, almost every home is going to already come with the, obviously your oven, your microwave, your dishwasher, your garbage disposal, those types of appliances. Most builders do not include washer, dryer, or refrigerator. Sometimes they do, sometimes they can, sometimes you can pick it at the design center. But typically, as a rule, those are not automatically included in a home. Sometimes the seller, if it's a builder, will include them if it's a quick move-in inventory home because they're trying to make it as appealing as possible. But remember, washer dryers and refrigerators tend to be a little bit more user specific. Like I know what I like and want, and I want the way I want my refrigerator to open and close and how I want it to function for me. Same thing with my washer and dryer. And that's one of the big reasons that builders don't include those appliances, because there are so many options. And some people like top load, some people like front load, some people want it up on the pedestal, some people want the stacks. Some people, like the clients that just closed on a home a month or so ago, they got the all-in-one. It's one unit. It washes and dries in one thing. I didn't even know that existed, but it does. And it's great for smaller spaces. And they had a smaller space. So it works really well for them. Anyway, so you need to decide as the seller, are you going to include all of the appliances, including the washer, dryer, and the refrigerator? Now, do you have a beverage fridge somewhere in your home? Do you have a wine fridge? Do you have a freezer or an extra refrigerator out in the garage? Those are things that you need to note specifically to your listing agent, but not only mention it, but you need to confirm that that has been noted correctly in your owner authorization document that you're going to be required to sign. Remember, Florida, where we are, these are documents that are required on our end. If you live in Montana, this may not be a thing, but it is still a thing that is important to make sure that that is communicated clearly, not just between seller and listing agent, but from seller, listing agent to general public. Because if they go in reading and having one expectation, and then all of a sudden at the end of the game, you walk in and, there was a refrigerator in the garage, refrigerator in the garage that you thought was going to stay, and all of a sudden it's gone. We don't want those last minute problems. We just don't need them. So let's be very proactive and very detail oriented in the beginning. So as the seller, all those other things that we've mentioned, make sure you go through your appliances. My suggestion is leave the appliances. If it's something brand new and it's something that you really want to take with you, or if it has special meaning to you, fine, you can take it with you. But there have been situations where the buyer doesn't want the refrigerator because they're bringing their own. Great. Okay, fine. But to make it easy, my suggestion is to try to include those appliances. Now, this is where it gets tricky, guys, so pay attention here. This is where it is absolutely critical. So for my listings, I provide them a conveyance form. It's a document I created from years of experience going, okay, let's just nip this in the bud right now. And the seller is going to be the one to fill out this document. I'm not filling it out. They fill it out, and then they will note what it is that they are keeping and what they are not keeping, what is going to convey, which means to stay, right? So what is typical is what will stay are the lighting fixtures. If you've got chandeliers, if you've got the vanity lights, if you've got a ceiling fan, those are expected to stay. They are fixed objects in the home. They are attached. However, if you have, like one of my clients, a specific chandelier in a dining room, perhaps that is something that is going to go back with them because it's kind of a special fixture for them and it kind of goes with them wherever they go. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. Well, here's my suggestion. If that fixture is not going to be included in the sale of your home, remove it. Get rid of it before you get photos done and before you show the property. Pull it down, put whatever other fixture up, and that's how a buyer sees the home. That's how the photographer represents the home. And that is how the expectation goes for the buyer who's going to buy the home. Unless you have it specifically big tagged, this fixture does not convey, because it can be a source of confusion and contention as we go through the process. So that is a huge one. Right now, every single one of you, if you are thinking about selling a home, go through it. Are there any fixtures or anything that is attached to the wall please don't pull stuff off the wall if you don't have to, and I don't mean pictures, right? I don't mean that. I mean, like, do you have a whole built-in fireplace, cabinets, or do you have something built in? I had a client who had some great shelving built in behind the toilet, not just the kind that you can buy that just stands there, like built in. Okay, that stuff is going to stay. It's attached. It's part of the house. It's attached to the wall. But those fixtures or those curtains, curtain rods, I usually tell my clients, leave the curtain rods. You can candidly leave the curtains unless you want the curtains. I tell people, unless you have a reason for it, I would say leave the curtains, leave the curtain rods. That way, that's all set. The buyer can come in. They can remove them if they don't like them, but at least they can move in knowing that they've got some privacy until such time as that they reach that on their to-do list. If the buyer says, "Hey, I know here in the MLS synopsis that it states that the curtain rods and the curtains are going to convey, but the buyer doesn't want those, so we're putting it in our offer, you know, in those additional terms, you know, that the buyer is requesting that the seller remove curtains and curtain rods prior to closing and occupancy." That's okay. That's totally fine. But it needs to be stated. It needs to be noted. It needs to not be a last minute conundrum with, oh, wait, are we leaving this? Should I leave this? Should I take this? Having a seller take something they shouldn't have taken, or having a buyer expect something that wasn't supposed to be there or that was supposed to be there. The other thing is TV mounts. I was like, where was I going with that? So the TV and the TV mount. So this is going to be a personal thing. And for me, I found it easier for my particular situation. I took one TV with me when I moved, and it was the big gigantic one that we had really just recently bought that was in the media room. It was a giant 85-inch TV, and that one we were able to take. However, all of the other TVs were a little bit difficult for me to take off the walls. Candidly, it was like me, you know, I had some help, but it was just a lot going on. Let's be honest, a lot happening. And I wasn't planning on leaving the TVs, but I communicated, hey, I'm going to, you know, leave these TVs, use them until you get your own. Probably a little bit of an inconvenience, and I'm very grateful that the buyer was accommodating and was like, not a problem, not pushing back on it at all. But I do tell people, leave the TV mounts attached to the wall. If your TV is sitting on a piece of furniture, you're fine. No worries. You can take that TV, go on back your way. If your TV is mounted to the wall and you have one of those really big, chunky TV mounts, leave the TV mount. Make it noted so that it's clear that the TV mounts are going to stay and that the TVs are not, or that you're leaving the TVs and the TV mounts. Again, just make sure that whatever you decide to do, that you're clear about it. Now, the reason you may go, why wouldn't I take the TV mount? If I'm taking the TV, I want to take the TV mount. Yes, but have you ever taken down a TV mount? Do you know what a mess it leaves back behind the wall? Think about it. Have you actually painted perfectly behind that wall? Have you painted since the TV was up and maybe it's not quite so perfect? You're going to have a big wall. Maybe you missed and you screwed a few extra holes in there and it doesn't look so pretty back behind it. What you don't want to have is the buyer to come in and do the final walkthrough and see that there's a TV mount that's been removed and you didn't patch any of the holes. Not only did you not patch the holes, but you didn't texture the wall and you didn't paint it. And it just makes it a big mess. So that's why I say leave the TV mounts. Most likely, if you had a TV mounted there, and that's where all of the data ports or the cable, all of that is located in that area, that's where the new person is going to be putting their TV as well, most likely, in which case leave the TV mount. As long as you're clear with what is going to stay, which, you know, to convey, then you should be fine. And I say this because I have a situation right now where seller has said, yeah, remember we mentioned we were gonna, you know, take the chandelier in one of the rooms, like a fixture, wasn't really a chandelier, a fixture in one of the rooms. And I was like, well, I don't know, I don't totally remember that. It's not listed in the MLS. Did you put it on the conveyance form, which is our second way of backup? And it wasn't. They didn't note it either. So you have to understand that when you're going to sell your house, you need to be very clear about what in it is also going to convey. So those are those two topics, right? So read your listing agreement. Make sure that the specific points that we've talked about have been executed into and onto that agreement before you sign it. And if you have questions, you just ask. Another listing agreement, and he had a question about something. He's like, I don't understand what this means. And so I explained what it meant and everything was fine. And there was another thing. He's like, I'd like to change this. And candidly, I discouraged him from making one of those changes, but he he's the boss, right? So I was like, okay. I was like, here's the problem it could potentially cause, but I do what you want me to do. So if you want me to change this to this, I'll do it. And I did, and we'll see what happens. Now, that being said, it's just important to make sure that you do your due diligence. There's just a lot of details. And it's a very emotional thing, typically for the seller, one way or the other, whether it's emotion of excitement and anticipation of getting ready to move to their new dream home, or moving to a new job, or moving back home, whatever it is. There can be excitement, but there can also be complete anxiety. There can be depression. There can be angst. It can be a sad thing. Been there, done that. So, you just have to make sure that you really think through what is going to stay or convey. Make sure you note it and make sure you communicate that. And as the seller, you have a responsibility too, which is to review the documents that have been sent to you. The house is shaking again. Review the documents that have been sent to you and make sure that it matches your list that you made of the things that you want to stay. Do you see me shaking? It is like crazy. Anyway, all right. So those are the first two topics. So on that, all right, I don't even know. Y'all. Oh, Daryl, you're very sweet. You're very sweet. It's called a filter. But thank you. You guys are the sweetest. You're my best friends. Okay. All right. Let's, oh, you know what? Kim Sokolsky. I have not heard from Rob lately, Kim. I thought about that last week. So I don't know how. I don't know that if Rob has ever messaged me separately. Many of you have we text separately, or you comment on the videos and we kind of chit chat back and forth that way. Yeah, we need to find out, because now you got me worried, Kim. Thank you for mentioning that. So wherever Rob is, maybe he's just happy. Maybe we're boring and that's okay. Maybe he's moved on. He's got something else that he does on Monday mornings. But either way, I know he's going through some health issues. So let's all give Rob some coffee time, Heart and Home Orlando family love. Send some of that out into the universe, and wherever he is, whatever he's doing, hopefully he'll feel that. All right, let's move on. I didn't skip you. Okay, all right. So AC Medical Quoting. It's like, I didn't skip you. I promise. I said, oh, Amy Carbon. Oh, you're back. Yay, love it. Okay. Yep, Rob. Okay, good. We're talking about Rob. Good morning from New Jersey. Good morning. You guys are awesome. I really do. I just adore all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I mean, I don't know why. Anyway, all right, let's move on to our third topic, which is, I don't even remember what it was. Oh, top 50 of the Orlando realtors again. So I don't like to toot the horn. That was always Eric's thing. But I don't have him here sometimes to kind of go, good job, Amy, you're doing a good job. So it was nice. So there is Orlando Real Producers goes through the data through the MLS. It's actually through the Orlando MLS, the agents, the marketing report, or the production reports to determine who those top 50 agents are. And I am shaking again. Good gracious. I am absolutely honored, and more than honored, completely humbled that somehow, I don't know how, but somehow out of the, 26,000 realtors there are in Orlando, that as a single agent, not a team, that somehow I'm in the top 50 again. So, yay. You notice I didn't stay on that page too long. I'll put it up one more time so that Allie will be happy, because she made the graphic there. That actually came from Orlando Real Producers, but that does list the name. So, grateful, humbled, and just thank you guys for doing that, because Daryl, toot girl. Love it. Okay. All right. So yeah, so that was the third topic. I'm glad we could get through that one quickly. All right. So I always like to see what I missed. Kim says, I miss Eric tooting your horn. He was so proud of you. Yeah. I don't want to start crying. Oh, goodness. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's not easy. I try every Monday to keep going, business as usual, to try to keep everybody happy, to try to keep everybody informed, and candidly, it's crushing. The other day was 7 months, if you can believe that. 7 months without my person. It's difficult. Every day is difficult. But I'm surrounded by people who love me, and I know that, and people that love Eric, and I'm excited to be planning a celebration of life for him that'll be happening in January, about a year after his passing. I know it's a little early to plan that, but not really when you have so many other things going on. But yeah, so I miss him tremendously. So thanks for indulging me. Let's move on. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna do something really fun. Let's do something fun. What do we want to do that's fun? Let's do. Well, let's do. Oh, you know what? Let's do Scoop. Okay, I forgot this last week. Hair trauma. Daryl, do you remember we used to call hair trauma back in the performing days? That literally came out like so just naturally, authentically, like back in the day during shows. And I'm sure you guys know this. We've said it before, but you know, Daryl and I and Eric, we all performed together, and Daryl's gorgeous wife, Jen, was also a performer. I never had the pleasure of dancing with her in a show, which is probably good because she's just, no one needs to be in a show with Jen because she's a one woman. Like everyone's going to stare at her because she's amazing. Anyway, all right, so let's talk about this. So the Scoop, I had this last week and I forgot, but I want to give a big congratulations to Mike and Tracy Cavato. They were clients of mine, helped them purchase their home here in Disney's backyard here in Horizon West. And I don't know when it was. I was going to go back to my messages with them. I've tried to do this for a while now, but there's just been a lot going on, obviously. And I would go, oh my gosh, we got to make sure I would do this because I thought how fun and how appropriate in the Scoop to go through the doo-doo detective business that they have started here in Horizon West. So not kidding. And by the way, in surrounding areas. So, just, you can reach out to them and find out if it's too far for them. I will tell you what a great service. And I say this, the yard needs to be poop scooped. Can we just be honest? When you have, I had have 3 dogs and a cat. Now the cat didn't go outside and poop, but the dogs did. And when they would go outside, and if my grandpups were visiting, if Ginny and Zoe were over, or if Scout was over, there were times around the holidays where we had, 6 dogs. And let me just tell you that doo-doo detectives, yes, please. Really great service. Again, think about you and your lifestyle, right? If you've got pups and maybe you work full time, just those little tiny services that can make a really big difference in your day and the enjoyment of your life. And more importantly, in your space here in Florida, in Horizon West. You want to be able to enjoy your outdoors, right? It's why we live in Florida, right? It's why you've got this beautiful weather. You've got all the fun and entertainment around you that you can constantly keep yourself busy. But if you have a beautiful backyard area, you have a pool area, even if you don't, you just have an outdoor oasis of some kind, and you want to go out there and you want to enjoy that spot, sometimes it'd be nice to be able to go out and enjoy the grass part of it as well without feeling like you're going to step in a landmine. So Tracy and Mike Cavato, I am so proud of you guys. I am so sorry it's taken me so long to be able to announce to everybody. But I see their truck kind of driving around quite a bit. So I think they're doing a great job. So if you happen to live in or around Disney's backyard, I don't know how far out they will go, but you know what? Their number's right there. You just give them a call, tell them Amy sent you. And it's not going to get you a discount or anything, but just tell them, because I want them to know that I love them and appreciate them for being my clients. And I'm just kind of returning that and give them a little bit of a shout out. So anyway, all right, moving on. So anybody need the doo-doo detective? Grateful Drifter, love it. He's like, he's here, late but present, love it. Do they have doo-doo radar? I don't know how they do it. That was funny. Okay, let's just say Eric would be laughing right now. Okay, I don't know how they do that, to be honest, but I do know I saw something with them. I mean, I think they have, like, it's almost like they can deodorize the lawn too. So, whether it's doo-doo radar or whether it's, I don't know, whether it's like me and I just walk up and down in paces with a bag. I don't know how they do it, but check them out if you are interested. If you've got some fur babies and you would like to take a little stress out of your life, call them, because first of all, they're fantastic people. So hopefully that will work. Yes, Kim, I wish we had that service when I had my 200-pound Great Dane. I mean, come on, absolutely. I don't even want to imagine what your yard looked like at that. Jay, I'm going to butcher the name, Venaziano. Lost my husband September 2017, and it never gets easier. Such a void. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm not going to do it. Good morning to Mr. Gary Wandry. Good morning. Good morning, sir. All right. So let's keep on going. Then let us go on and move on to our next thing, which is secret. Okay, so 2 new listings coming soon. So one listing actually went active last Friday, I believe it is. Another listing going active this week, still fine tuning the day, but I believe it'll be Wednesday. There's a couple others that are in the works. One potentially there, actually 2, I'm wrong, 2 potentially in Hawksmoor, which is a fantastic community there in Horizon West. Really excited about that. So stay tuned, because remember, Florida laws, we're not allowed to advertise our listings more than 24 hours in advance with specifics. I can give you generalities and let you know we got some that are coming. So that's what we did. And then when we get to that, we'll go to these listings, but let's just go ahead and do that now. Perfect. All right, and JJ Hernandez, I see your question, so I'm going to get to that right after we go through these listings. All right, so our listing spotlight is that new listing that just went up and on the market. This is the son of a repeat client of mine. This is what I love, guys. It is the long-term relationships, the people that come back and back and back and refer and recommend, and it means the world to me, because that means that they had a good experience the first time around, and that makes my heart really happy. So this is another one of those. So this is a beautiful home out in Mineola Villages in Mineola Hills. This is a Meritage home, so really energy efficient with the spray foam insulation. Even the attic space is insulated, keeping that temperature within the attic space and the family living space within a few degrees different. Really kind of insulate and keeps the house really nice and temperature regulated. I don't know if that's the right word. Anyway, beautiful 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath home, a little over 2,200 square feet. Primary bedroom is on the first floor. That is huge. So if you are looking for a home, by the way, priced really well, $485 as of today. 485. So under 500,000, like significantly under 500,000. Fantastic deal. Home is only 2 years old. It was built in 2023. Again, 4 bedrooms. Downstairs is the primary. Upstairs is the 3 additional bedrooms plus a loft. So fantastic. If you've got a family, you've got kids, people, you kind of want that little bit of a separation, mom and dad or whomever on the first floor, and you've got the kids or guests up on the second floor with a little extra bonus loft space for them. Perfect, perfect, perfect spot. Community has wonderful amenities as well. There's 2 builders in there. Excuse me. You have Meritage. You also have Starlight, which is Ashton Woods, is also in that community. So nice big community, really nice big amenities. It's funny because I sold this exact floor plan 1 street over that just closed several months ago, probably 4 or 5, 6 months ago. Honestly, time has no meaning right now, but it's been a hot minute. But I spoke to them originally, and guys, that's how. When you think about real estate, I don't ever want people to feel pressured. I am not that hardcore, are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Are you ready yet? Because that's not who I am. This person I spoke to, I believe it was in February. So now we have a time. So I spoke to them in February, and that was our first initial conversation. Went over to the house, we chatted, we did the home valuation, went from there. Told them at that time that, hey, just FYI, I'm getting ready to list this exact floor plan 1 street over. That home closed. I said, hey, by the way, home went under contract in 2 days and it sold for $485. And so we went kind of through that. But it's just now being listed here in August. So from February to August, I'm not rushing. I'm not pressuring. And then they end up coming and they're like, okay, we're ready now. Like there's a lot of things you have to do when you're going to sell a house. And not all of it has to do with thinning out the cabinets and the counters. Sometimes it's personal stuff that you have to get taken care of, and sometimes that can take a while. So here we are, we're ready, and I'm so happy to feature this home. By the way, the furniture in this house is exquisite. I absolutely love it. Everything about this is just so well designed. So beautiful home. Again, this one is in Villages at Mineola Hills with Meritage as the builder, and it is in Mineola. And if you've not been to Mineola, you need to go out there because it is a hot spot. It is booming. It is, they have the new exits off of the turnpike. Everything is right there. Huge new hospital being built right there. Again, just, it's so fantastic. So also, not that this matters, but I felt the need to say this just now. There's also Del Webb, Mineola, which is less than 5 minutes from this house. So if you happen to go, oh, wait, now I'm thinking maybe mom and dad go to Del Webb, Mineola, and maybe we go buy this house or a house over in the other area. Food for thought. I'm just saying, if you're interested in Del Webb, Mineola, give me a call. All right, let's move on to the other listings. Okay, so we have Winter Garden, 1-story, beautiful home, Winding Bay, built by Rockwell Homes, $15,000 closing cost contribution. Mineola, 2-story is the one that we just talked about. That's the featured listing for the week. We have the beautiful Ashby floor plan in Lakeview Preserve. And by the way, that's where the other listing is going to be coming active. Same community, by the way. 2-story, not the same house at all. Winter Garden, 1-story. So that one is a big and beautiful 3-car garage. The one that we had in Kindred, the beautiful Robinson floor plan by D.R. Horton, also 3-car garage, is under contract. Congratulations there to buyers and sellers. And then we have the Groveland 1-story. Very, very excited to hear that. I know Gary is absolutely thrilled. And then we also have the Davenport 2-story. Davenport 2-story. We also have the 55 plus villa in Kissimmee, which is the Four Seasons community by Kay Hovnanian. Then we also have the Del Webb Oasis, another 55 plus community villa. A couple people kind of knocking this one around, but there's some interest brewing. So send us some good vibes that maybe something will shake out for this one, but they are offering a really nice, generous closing cost contribution. House is shaking again. I'm holding on. Feel like I'm on a Disney ride. Then we have the new Silverleaf Bungalow, again, closing cost contribution. That one is literally brand new. Like it's a brand new construction home. No one has lived in it before. And then at the bottom right-hand corner, my goodness, shakety shake. I don't know if you can feel it or if you can hear it, but I promise it's not an earthquake. It's just construction, but shakes the ground. Hawksmoor Townhome in the bottom right-hand corner. Again, beautiful end unit, fireplace feature in there, a wall of windows, absolutely gorgeous. Lots going on with those listings. So if any of these look good to you, or if you want some more information, always you can reach out to me at 407-848-8042, or share them. If you've got somebody that might be looking, say, give them my name and number, and we'll get them the information that they need. Okay, let's move on because I got a really fun one to show you because there's going to be a really fun baby update. Tease, you got to stay there. Okay, let's do our word.
Oh, now come on, Amy, tell me what's the word.
Okay, easements. Yes, this is not deja vu. I know, we just had this word not too long ago. Oh, and shoot, you know what? I was going to bring out the door hanger because this is a real life situation. So one day at my son's house, just randomly, we see some spray markings in his front lawn. And, we're like, okay, well, somebody's doing something, you have to spray and mark where the lines are. And then without notice, without any confirmation, without any knocking on the door, letting anyone know that this is going to be happening, they start digging up the front yard because they're burying I believe like fiber optic, had something to do with the internet. I don't know all the terms, so I may be wrong, but that's what they were burying because a neighbor a few doors down was getting whatever, and they needed to bury this line. Now, it was in the front yard, the yard that was attached to my son's property. There was no sidewalk, and then this spot, it was literally in the front yard, and they're just out there digging. No warning, no nothing. And it was funny though, because when they went out to kind of say, excuse me, what are you doing? And they said, well, we're burying a cable line. And yes, it is an easement. So the point is they do have the right to do that. But the homeowner does have the right to know that someone is going to be accessing their property and that they're going to be digging it up, because people run businesses out of homes, and wouldn't you know it, they cut the line. Of course they did. So of course they did. So in the course of them digging, they hit a line, they cut it, and then everybody was affected, and it was a big fiasco. Now, do they fix it? Yes. Were they without internet for a period of time? Yeah, like almost a day, almost a full day. It was overnight, like never came back on that evening. All night there was no internet, and it was well after lunchtime when it came back on. So almost a full 24 hours, of course, over the weekend when people are home hoping to try to relax. So easements can be accessed. As a reminder, it may be part of your property, but that easement is allowed by whatever entity, by the county, by whomever, to be accessed if they need sewer, if they need, and like I mentioned before, I think the example I gave you before was the apron of a driveway. Because I have had in those cases, if there's a sewer line issue or a water line issue, they may have to come into that apron part of your driveway and chew it up, mess it up. You got to park on the street for a while. They fix whatever line is underneath of it, and then they put it all back, and then they re-pour concrete, and you have a new fresh driveway over top of it. But they're allowed to do that because of the easement. But in this case, they didn't even notify the homeowner at all. Even though when it went out to say, what are you doing? Then they hand this door hanger, which is clearly intended to go on the doorknobs of the resident's home, who could be affected by them digging and doing whatever they needed to do in that easement. They just never bothered to let anybody know. My goodness, it's shaking. Can you see it? I'm curious. I feel like my ruffles are shaking. Anyway, all right. So let's move on because there's two questions I wanted to answer. JJ Hernandez, why are the older areas like Stony Brook, Metro West, and Avalon Park less desirable? Realtors don't ever push those areas. Will Horizon West be less desirable in 20 years? So here's the thing. I don't know that they're less desirable. Excuse me. I think that just in some cases, it depends on where the trend is going, where the activity is going, where the foot traffic is going. So Stony Brook, I used to live right across from Stony Brook, and I remember it was it still is, big, beautiful community. I love the accessibility there to Whispering Oak Elementary. I love the tree-lined entryway over the holidays where they put the lights. It's just gorgeous, beautiful amenities, large community, but it has a little bit of age to it. So when we talk about less desirable, it's not sometimes so much that it's, excuse me, less desirable, but if it's like less desirable for any reason other than the fact that potentially it's a little bit older, or that maybe there's more ideal locations for where people want to be. Maybe for some people, maybe the schools are better in one area than they are in the other. Now, candidly, that's not it for Stony Brook because we moved where we moved specifically for Whispering Oak Elementary. Like specifically for that elementary school when we first moved originally from Virginia, which is, again, we were right across from Stony Brook. But if you go and you show homes in Stony Brook, and I have sold homes both as listings and as a buyer agent in that community, they are older. So the finishes are going to be more dated. Now we are hitting the time where the roofs are going to need to be replaced, or the hot water heater may need to be replaced, or there's just a little bit more bumps and bruises within the home that's going to need a little bit more renovation or a little bit more updating or upkeep. So it's not really that they're in a bad area like that. I think more so it's, some people may go, well, I like the older homes because I feel like all of the kinks have probably been worked out. Yeah, maybe so. I have lots of clients that feel that way. But then when you can go, 5 miles down the road and have a brand new construction home, and you don't have to worry about the roof. You don't have to worry about the HVAC system. You don't have to worry about the heater. You don't have to worry about the fact that maybe some of those have design options on the inside that were more indicative of the build time. Maybe it's the 12 by 12 squares as opposed to the 12 by 24 planks. So that's just a design thing. And yes, those things can be fixed. In fact, I had the last home, excuse me, that I sold in that community. That was part of the plan. They were going to be redoing the flooring in there because the flooring was a little bit, it had a little age on it. And design-wise, they just wanted something looking a little bit different. But they love the location. So I don't know that realtors don't push those areas. Remember, ethically, we cannot steer people to or from any specific community. I think that Stony Brook had a little bit when the golf course was kind of wonky. Back then, when it was like all overgrown, nobody was taking care of it, and the fence was all falling down. That was a problem. That was not a good look for the community. And that created an issue for the property values in there. And again, I'm only really referencing that one community. Metro West, I think, is still strong. It's just it's a different area. It's a different vibe. So it's really about where you want to go, where you want to live, how you want to live. And if you have kids, if schools matter, what does that look like to you? Can you work remotely? But yeah, I don't know that there's anything wrong with them. I think it's just a matter of what people want. But those are some good ones when you think about older versus newer. Do you, as the buyer, want to come into a property where you know that you're going to have to replace the roof, or that you know you're going to have to replace the HVAC system within the next X amount of years? So just food for thought there. And then who else? John. Will you be having an open house at Huntsman Ridge? I'm not sure yet. Some homeowners really, really, really want to have open houses, and some do not. But I promise if I do, I will let you guys know, because I know your point. You're going to come see me, right? Okay, good. All right, so let's see. Kim Sokolsky, don't even get me started about easements. When we bought this lot, we were assured that we could put up a fence, but of course they're saying we can't. Wait, what? What? You should still be able to put up a fence. Maybe not a pool. Okay, we need to talk about that. So usually, you know what, I'm gonna go on with that particular point. So there was a street in the community of Sanctuary at Twin Waters. No, Twin Waters, not Sanctuary, Twin Waters. Twin Waters. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry. Twin Waters. There was a road where there was an irrigation easement in the back that prohibited any of those homeowners on that street from being able to put in a pool, because you could not dig down into that easement. But if there is an easement, you should be allowed to put a fence on it, because if they had to access whatever they needed to access within that easement, they could remove that fence and then put that fence back up, because it's not down into the ground like a pool would be. We'll chat later and let me know. Maybe I don't understand your whole situation, but that doesn't make me happy at all. We'll talk about that one for sure. JJ Hernandez, example, Hunter Creek close to Disney. Yes. Yeah, so Hunters Creek. So that's actually when we first moved here. That's where my husband worked. Was his office was over in Hunters Creek, and I have shown a lot of homes in Hunters Creek, and I've sold one home over there. And I will tell you, those clients, as we did the inspection, realized that the majority of those homes, at least the ones that we toured, had poly B piping. That is polybutylene. I think I pronounced it correctly. Polybutylene piping, which are now no longer up to code, and so that had to be replaced. So they had to redo the plumbing in the house. They still bought the home, but we had to renegotiate post inspection, and we had to find a way then for the seller to remedy that, because they didn't want to buy the house. If it has poly B piping, they're going to have to repipe the house. So, and a lot of those homes also showed some homes to a client in there. And because a lot of those areas do not have, they're basically listed as short-term rental, can be an issue as well. A lot of people don't want to live in a community that's short-term rental if it's going to be their primary residence. So again, don't know all the ins and outs, but from my personal experience, I did have a young couple purchase a beautiful home, had poly B piping, age of the home. We talked about that, right? There were some issues there. And so that had to be remedied. But it was where they wanted to live because it was close to where they worked. And that was the area they were familiar with. And then I have shown quite a few properties because the location in Hunters Creek is fantastic. It's a great proximity to things. The problem for them was, like, literally, I'll never forget this. I was showing the home with my client, and for whatever reason, the listing agent wasn't there to show the property, and it wasn't vacant. The homeowner opened the door, which was okay, but unexpected. And as we were touring the home, we noticed that each of the doors has a number on it. Like this, had room 1. Right across the hall was room 2. It had like an address sign on the front of your house. 1, 2, 3. It was an Airbnb. And that's why all of the bedrooms were numbered, because it was a short-term rental and they used it as an Airbnb. So, and that was not what my client was looking for. So again, that's not the whole story, but that's my experience with those areas that you referenced, and JJ Hernandez, but those are good ones. Okay. So, all right. So I'm going to move on because I know you're anxiously waiting for the babies. Okay, so this is Elsie on the left. I'm just going to let this roll, and what you need to do is you need to find one baby, watch it as it loops through a few times, and then go on to the next baby. So to the left is Elsie, and to the right is Easton, and they are both learning to jump. They're trying to jump. This is just developmentally. No one's telling them to jump. They're just both. I love this. I mean, how fun to have these little munchkins and for them to be so close in age. But look, they crack me up. Look at Elsie. The knee locks as she tries to bend and jump in the knee. I just giggle. If anything's gonna make me happy, is just watching this. And then if you look at Easton, he does the same thing. He's like, "Ooh!" And then they both fall at the end. It just cracks me up. So, absolutely makes my heart so happy. So I promise you, if you need a laugh later on, if you need to have all those warm fuzzies, if you need to feel good about something, come back to this particular episode of Coffee Time and just watch this on a loop, because it's got to make your heart happy. It just cracks me. It cracks me up. Oh my God, I love them so much. Okay. All right, moving on. We got a couple more things, and I think that's it. I'm going to do cup. Okay, so we had a board game night the other night. First time in a very, very, very long time that I played a board game, and we played Austinopoly. It's the Austin version of Monopoly, just like we have Winter Garden Opoly. I guess there's a lot of them. I think it's a really cool take on Monopoly to be able to highlight some of the great spots and things and just some of the nice, wonderful, like touristy type things. And if you live there, some of the things that the locals know. To have these different versions of Monopoly I'm sure they have them in almost all the big cities here and there, but we played Austinopoly, and not that we were in Austin, it's just the game that we had. And I would like to say, I'm just going to say that if you look, this is from my vantage point, I had quite a bit of property. I dare say I won Monopoly. We of the four of us, two ended up being out, and then it was between my son-in-law and myself. Because the other ones had to mortgage their properties, he got a few more properties, but I think in the end I still would have won. But we just called it, we're like, oh, well, it was a great game. But anyway, it was fun. So I played Austinopoly. I had it was pure luck. It's no strategy. I'm not a game connoisseur. It was just, honestly, it was fun to sit and to laugh and to play and to kind of be together. Because I kind of needed that, and that was a really fun night. So thanks for playing Austinopoly with me. All right, I think we are almost done, except what I'm watching. I think I'm gonna double check. By the way, I always forget. Don't forget to like the stream. Don't forget to subscribe. All that jazz. If you have friends that you think might be interested, please go ahead and let them know that we exist. I know Mondays mornings is not the greatest time, but And now I'm gonna do what I'm watching. Okay, so I just finished this. I think it was yesterday. I think I watched this yesterday. My Oxford Year. I had this on while I was doing some paperwork. It was fun. It was a movie, so it's not a series. I believe it was on Netflix. I don't remember. I think it was on Netflix. But I just watched it, and it was, I have to tell you, I don't understand what it is. Almost every show that I'm watching involves, death or dying in some capacity, and it's like, I don't know if I'm just picking these on purpose or what, but I will tell you, this was a great little movie. It was worth the time. I enjoyed it. So if you haven't seen it, then maybe you can put that on your list. If you have seen it, then maybe you liked it as well. I absolutely love movies or series or shows that take place in other countries where you get such a great visual of what the area looks like and the history. And I love that. Since I don't travel and I don't get to go see that stuff in person, I love to see it through movies. So anyway, so if you want to do that, go for it. And Amy, I love it. You were just a great supporter. Yes, like, subscribe, and share. You guys are awesome. All right. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and scoot on. I think I got everything. I think I did it today. I think I did. I have that Zoom call shortly. I think I'm good. All right. Anybody else? Anybody else got anything? Don't forget, if you have questions, put them in. If I didn't get to it today, I'll try to make a note and get to it tomorrow. So I apologize. Tomorrow. Oh, actually, speaking of that, next Monday, there is no coffee time. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot to tell you. No coffee time next Monday because I'll be traveling. Unfortunately, the flight happens right when coffee time is airing. So here's my request to you. I will be thinking about you next Monday morning. You guys think about me. Take my not being here for coffee time on Monday as your permission slip to get your own coffee and go snuggle up with a book, go huddle up in a corner somewhere with a blanket, go to Starbucks, go to your favorite coffee place if you're in Washington State, to Woods Coffee, um, or just go do something fun. Go do a random act of kindness next Monday morning. Do something positive, uplifting, something that makes you smile and makes your heart warm and fuzzy, like you guys do to me every Sunday, every single Monday. So with that, I'm going to let you guys go, and I'm going to tell you the promo, right? Don't forget, I'm always here to help. You can call or text. Text is better. Okay. 407-848-8042. We will talk, but it's usually better if you text first, and then that way I can schedule a time to actually chat with you. Because sometimes when people call and it's going to end up being a 45-minute conversation, but I'm literally getting ready to walk into a showing or something. So I can't answer all the time, but text me and then we'll coordinate our time to chat. And then as always, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. We appreciate you guys so much. I'm sorry I'm so shaky today. This is me shaking. This is not really the house. As always, please stay safe, stay well. Remember, we love you. Thank you for bearing with me in my little emotional moments. I appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. You guys have a wonderful day. We'll not see you next week. Go do a random act of kindness. Tell somebody you love them. Go snuggle up. Go do something fun. Make it worthwhile next Monday morning. And then I will see you the following week. I'll tell you all about it. All right. Love you guys. Have a great week. Bye.